The Carbon Neutral Communities project involves us in doing carbon footprinting at sort of local authority area, also looking at renewable resource assessments, so how many renewables in terms of photovoltaics or wind you could generate within the local authority area, and then also looking at the behavioural side, if you like, the sort of energy using side of communities.
In looking at the social dimensions of change, we were particularly interested in approaches to changing behaviour. We developed a database of over 100 behaviour change programs, particularly interested in targeting energy use in the home. We assessed a range of approaches that a lot of these programs are doing, and we found that there hasn't been very much research at all around behaviour change programs and their effectiveness. So we were interested in how people are actually going about working with individuals and communities to try and affect change.
Our review of behaviour change programs across Australia really showed us that these programs are generally focused around individual behaviour, and while that explains part of our current energy consumption patterns, it doesn't get the whole picture.
A lot of the actions that are targeted are around turning off light switches, switching off lights at the wall, washing in cold water, switching taps off while brushing teeth, having a 4-minute shower. These were all very common actions that were identified across a wide range of behaviour change programs. And what we found is that while quite a number of people might take up these actions, the impact of those kinds of changes are relatively marginal when we consider the types of social or systemic changes that we're really needing to affect if we're talking about significant change in the future.
So, for example, in the case of showering behaviour, an individual behaviour change program might focus on the length of shower that an individual person is going to have, and so on and so forth, whereas a social change program might take broader account of standards of cleanliness and so expectations of showering more broadly across the community. And that requires a different way of seeing how that showering behaviour is constituted.
The Carbon Neutral Communities was a fantastic research project that we undertook with RMIT. There was a lot of focus on the best methods for community engagement and how community engagement projects are currently being run and what methodologies we could apply to really increase and expand the effectiveness of them. So looking at community engagement and the capacity of local government and others to actually implement climate change programs.
I think what's exciting about Carbon Neutral Communities is that they've recognised the complexity of the situation when you're trying to achieve sustainability. It's not just about information for individuals to make them change. It's not just about technology and getting the technical people doing the right things. It's looking at the context, the infrastructure, the culture, the common practices. And all of those elements have to be managed so that you can motivate people and empower them to achieve outcomes.
Some of that work identified that it would be much more effective to engage with communities on a sort of a society, more of a group basis than focusing on individual behaviour change programs. And this finding has been really useful for the design of other projects that we're now thinking about running.
We can already see local governments taking on board the outcomes of the research and incorporating them into their plans for carbon neutral communities in the future, and we're very much hopeful that that process will continue. We're very keen as applied researchers to see our research taken up by industry and also by government in policy making.
The outcome of it has been a model that means you can go into an organisation and look at the cultures, look at the barriers, and look at the ways the organisation can capture the opportunities that come with a drive towards sustainability. And I think that model can be applied very well in business.